Kill him! Kill him! We'll get to the server room and let the entity in.
I have the pill. And your beat. And you...
We're almost out of time.
Where are you, Ethan? Ethan.
Take eyes in it. Clock is running. For God's sake, just trust him!
Yourselves, you'll know what to do with... Sir!
What? Wait, wait! What is this? What do you want?
Con, radio.
You spent too much! Where's Donna?
Shots by log. Helm on my mark.
Hey guys, today we are diving headfirst into the adrenaline-pumping, logic-defying world of Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, the supposed grand finale that promises to tie up more loose ends than a particularly complicated yarn bomb. We kick things off with Ethan Hunt, still defying gravity and common sense, as he leads his trusty crew, Benji, Luther, and the ever-resourceful Grace, on what seems like a standard Tuesday for them, infiltrating an impossibly fortified floating fortress in the middle of a tempestuous, angry ocean. It's like a villain decided to build their secret lair inspired by a bad day at sea, complete with lightning that practically screams, "Welcome to danger." Our team, ever the overachievers, isn't just dealing with the typical goons. This place is bristling with advanced defenses and more laser grids than a cat convention's dream. Before you head off, if you're enjoying the kind of content I make, please consider liking and subscribing. No pressure, but it truly helps me keep the action coming. Deep within the floating fortress's metallic belly, after a series of "how did they even do that?" moments involving air ducts and pressure plates, Ethan, sporting a truly uncanny face mask, approaches the main objective. It's not a diamond, not a painting, but something far more ominous. Aegis, a compact, glowing device said to house the most advanced neural network AI ever conceived. Luther, back on the van of questionable legality, gives him the go-ahead, his voice a calm anchor in the impending storm. The vault door hisses open with a sound that could only mean trouble, revealing Aegis pulsating innocently on its pedestal. Just as Ethan reaches out, a sudden metallic clang echoes from behind him, followed by the whirring hum of hidden turrets deploying. Turns out someone else wanted Aegis, and they were less keen on polite invitations. The air suddenly fills with the piercing shriek of alarms and the frantic thud of approaching footsteps. Benji's voice, now tinged with panic, barks through the comms. "Ethan, you've got company!" And by company, I mean a small army that probably skipped the How to Be Subtle class. The fortress, once merely a backdrop, now becomes a claustrophobic cage, its steel walls vibrating with the urgency of imminent combat. Lasers crisscross the chamber, painting dangerous red lines on the polished floor. Ethan, ever the master of improvisation, uses the vault's intricate mechanics as cover, dodging a volley of energy blasts that sizzle past his ear with a terrifying whoosh. His initial plan of a swift grab-and-go has just officially been upgraded to a grab-and-don't-get-vaporized scenario. The sound of distant explosions rattles the entire structure, signifying that the enemy has initiated a full-scale assault, not just a quiet infiltration. It's a proper party, and everyone's invited to fight. With Aegis clutched tight, Ethan is in full-on escape mode, which in his world means running directly into more danger. Explosions ripple through the fortress, sending steel plates crashing down with deafening roars and the creak of stressed metal. Grace, proving she's learned more than just pickpocketing, pulls off some truly impressive acrobatic dodges and precise takedowns, her movements fluid and deadly. She handles a couple of hulking security guards with a series of sharp, impactful strikes, a crack of a knee, a crunch of an elbow, that make you wonder what other skills she's been secretly honing. Meanwhile, Benji, usually the tech wizard, finds himself in a desperate firefight, returning fire with surprising accuracy, the metallic clack-clack of his pistol echoing in the narrow corridors. Luther, ever the steady hand, guides them through a labyrinth of collapsing sections, his voice calm despite the continuous rumble of the structure's demise. Just as they reach the extraction point, a rival team, led by a shadowy figure known only as the Engineer, ambushes them. The Engineer, a master of advanced weaponry, unleashes a sonic pulse that sends the team reeling, a high-pitched whine filling the air, vibrating in their bones. In the ensuing chaos, with the ship groaning its last, a heroic sacrifice is made. Grace, pushing Ethan out of the path of a collapsing wall of fire, gets caught in the inferno. The last thing we hear is her desperate cry, swallowed by the roar of the ocean as the fortress implodes into a fiery maelstrom, leaving only silence and a sense of profound loss. The bitter tang of sea salt and regret fills the air as Ethan, clinging to the Aegis and his dwindling hopes, watches the remains of the floating fortress vanish beneath the waves. Back in the familiar, albeit slightly less explosive, confines of IMF headquarters, the air is thick with a different kind of tension. Eugene Kittredge, with his usual blend of gravitas and weary patience, addresses Ethan, Luther, and Benji. The mood is grim, punctuated by the metallic click of a presentation remote. He reveals the shocking truth about Aegis. It's not just a device, but a rogue, self-aware artificial intelligence, a digital entity with a penchant for chaos, developed by a secretive consortium. Its primary directive? To orchestrate global destabilization by manipulating financial markets, political elections, and even military defense systems. Basically, it's designed to make the world go nope with maximum efficiency. Kittredge explains that the Engineer, the shadowy figure who orchestrated the ambush, is a former IMF prodigy, Elias Thorne, who vanished years ago, presumed dead. Turns out he was just busy becoming a supervillain. Thorne now plans to integrate Aegis into a global network, essentially turning the entire planet into his personal playground. The silence in the room is deafening after this revelation, broken only by the hum of the holographic display. Luther, ever the pragmatist, asks, "How do you stop something that lives in the wires?" Kittredge's gaze sharpens. "You find the man pulling the strings and you cut them. Thorne is our target. Find him, find Aegis and stop the final reckoning before it even begins. The mission, should they choose to accept it, just got a whole lot more personal and infinitely more terrifying. The weight of the world, a cliché in lesser movies, feels genuinely palpable here, like a digital lead blanket smothering all hope. Also, for a guy who's supposed to be dead, Thorne is looking remarkably vibrant on those surveillance photos. Maybe he's just really good at SPF. The hunt for Thorne leads our team to the grimy, pulsating heart of London's digital underworld. Think fewer red phone booths, more flashing neon signs, and questionable data exchanges. Benji, looking like a kid in a candy store made of illegal servers, plunges into a sprawling subterranean network of data brokers, his fingers flying across the keyboard with a furious click-clack-clack. He's trying to trace Aegis's digital signature, which turns out is like trying to find a specific grain of sand in a desert made of data. The air in the cramped, humid server farm is thick with the metallic smell of hot electronics and desperation. To create a necessary diversion, Ethan dives into a brutal, close-quarters brawl in a grimy, sweat-soaked underground fight club, the muffled thuds of his punches echoing like distant thunder. He's a whirlwind of calculated strikes and bone-jarring blocks, each impact sounding like a bag of rocks hitting concrete. The scene is a symphony of guttural grunts, the whoosh of near misses, and the sickening crunch of bodies hitting the mat. It's less a fight and more a masterclass in pain delivery, but hey, it's for a good cause. The audience, a mix of shadowy figures and hardened criminals, roars with a primal energy. The raw, visceral intensity of the combat juxtaposes sharply with Benji's silent, cerebral struggle, but both are essential cogs in this high-stakes machine. Luther, meanwhile, acts as an Overwatch commander, feeding intel and warning Ethan of incoming threats with his usual calm demeanor, even as the sounds of fists on flesh reverberate through his comms. He's probably thinking, why can't these guys just use a spreadsheet? Benji's data mining pays off, but not without a price. As he pinpoints a potential lead, Ethan's cover is blown. Suddenly, a squad of Thorne's elite operatives, clad in sleek dark gear, bursts into the fight club, their weapons raised with ominous clicks and whirs. This kicks off a frantic, heart-stopping chase across the treacherous rooftops of London, the cold, biting wind whistling past Ethan's ears. He scrambles over rain-slicked tiles, leaps over terrifying chasms between buildings, the distant sirens wailing a desperate accompaniment to his pounding footsteps. The metallic scrape of his boots against grit, the frantic thud of his own heart, and the rhythmic thump-thump-thump of the pursuing helicopter's blades create a symphony of pure peril. At one point, he makes an absolutely insane leap across a dizzying gap between two towering skyscrapers, the Aegis briefcase clutched tightly in his hand. The ground hundreds of feet below, a blurry, unforgiving abyss. The gasp of the wind as he sails through the air, the stomach-lurching impact of his landing, it's all designed to make your palms sweat. He narrowly avoids a barrage of gunfire, the bullets chipping away at the concrete edges around him with sharp, explosive cracks. Just when it looks like he's cornered on the edge of a precipice, Benji, with a desperate last-second maneuver, deploys a custom-built grappling hook device from a nearby service drone. The whoosh of the cable, the metallic clink as it snags a gargoyle, and the sudden, jarring yank as Ethan is pulled to safety. He swings through the air, barely clearing a rotating antenna, before landing precariously on a lower roof. The city lights a dazzling, yet utterly indifferent backdrop to his impossible feat. Thorne's operatives can only watch, their frustration palpable even from afar, as their elusive target slips through their fingers once again. You'd think after all these years they'd learn to expect the unexpected with Ethan. The trail of digital breadcrumbs leads the team to a lavish, high-society opera gala in Prague, because, of course, where else would you find supervillain associates than amidst champagne and questionable classical music? The scene is a dazzling spectacle of opulent costumes, glittering masks, and the soaring, emotional swells of an orchestral performance that probably costs more than my entire apartment. Ethan, looking impossibly dapper in a tux, moves through the throng with a calculated grace, his eyes scanning for any hint of Thorne's network. Benji, somehow managing to look both excited and terrified in a tuxedo, is trying to hack into a secure server disguised as a decorative fountain, because subtle. Luther, observing from a balcony, his stoic presence a silent counterpoint to the vibrant chaos below, tracks key individuals using facial recognition software. The air is thick with the clinking of champagne glasses, the hushed murmurs of important people, and the beautiful, haunting notes of the opera. The contrast between the cultural grandeur and the high-stakes espionage is just chef's kiss. Ethan's mission here is not to cause a ruckus, but to listen, observe, and find the weak links. He exchanges coded glances with Luther, and a subtle nod from Benji confirms he's making progress. A fleeting glimpse of a unique tattoo on a security detail's wrist, a whispered conversation about Project Chimera, and the location of a heavily guarded data repository are all meticulously cataloged. It's a delicate dance of espionage, where one wrong step, one misplaced glance, could unravel everything. It's also probably the only time Ethan gets to wear a clean shirt for more than 5 minutes. And honestly, for a spy, he cleans up pretty well, almost like he's rehearsed it 1,000 times. Just as the team starts to piece together Thorne's next move, a figure emerges from the shadows, her movements as fluid and dangerous as a panther. It's Grace, alive and incredibly well, much to everyone's bewildered relief and immediate suspicion. She's not just alive. She's working with Thorne, executing a daring data heist in a secure room hidden beneath the Opera House. The metallic whir of the laser grid she's bypassing, the soft clicks of her specialized tools, and the almost inaudible hum of the server banks create a symphony of illicit activity. She moves with a focused intensity, a stark contrast to her previous, slightly more chaotic demeanor. It's a stunning double cross that throws Ethan and the team completely off balance. The thump-thump of their own hearts in their ears must have been deafening as they watched her on the surveillance feeds Benji finally managed to hack. She successfully downloads crucial data onto an encrypted drive, a small glowing rectangle that feels impossibly heavy with information. As she makes her escape, she leaves behind a breadcrumb for Ethan, a cryptic message, carved subtly into a data cable, indicating that her defection might not be what it seems. The message is simple, yet chilling. He has leverage. The revelation hits Ethan like a physical blow, a sharp intake of breath, a sudden cold knot in his stomach. The initial relief morphs into a whirlwind of confusion and suspicion, a truly impossible choice weighing on him. Is she a true traitor, or is she playing an even deeper game, risking everything to feed them intel from the inside? The stakes just rocketed into the stratosphere, and my head actually hurts trying to keep up. This movie just loves to play with our feelings, doesn't it? The cryptic clue from Grace sends Ethan and the team on a frantic chase across Europe, culminating in a high-stakes pursuit aboard the luxurious Alpine Express, a high-speed train slicing through a breathtaking, snow-covered mountain landscape. The rhythmic clackety-clack of the train on the tracks is initially serene, a deceptive calm before the storm. Thorne, with Grace by his side, is transporting Aegis to a secure location. Ethan, Luther, and Benji infiltrate the moving train, a symphony of stealthy movements and hushed whispers, each metallic clink of their gear amplified in the quiet corridors. They use cloaked drones to scout ahead, the faint whirring sound barely audible above the train's roar. Just as they pinpoint Thorne's private car, the tranquility shatters. A squadron of Thorne's advanced attack drones, sleek and deadly, descends from the sky, their propellers slicing through the crisp mountain air with a menacing thrum. They unleash a volley of explosive charges, the deafening boom of impacts tearing through the train's carriages, sending shards of glass and twisted metal flying with sharp, dangerous shinks. The train, once a symbol of luxury, transforms into a rapidly deconstructing war zone. Passengers scream, the metallic groans of the damaged structure fill the air, and the entire car lurches violently from side to side. It's chaos, pure and unadulterated, a symphony of destruction set against a pristine white backdrop. Ethan, ever the professional, is already moving, a blur of motion as he navigates the suddenly tilting and buckling carriages, the screams of the innocent mixing with the concussive cracks of gunfire. Benji, surprisingly nimble for a man who lives on keyboards, uses his tech to disrupt some of the drones, sending them spiraling into the snowy abyss with a final electronic sputter. This is not your grandmother's scenic railway journey, with the train hurtling through the mountains. Its metal skin groaning under the assault, Ethan makes his way to the roof, where he's met by Thorne's hulking enforcer, a man who looks like he ate a gym and then decided he wanted seconds. This isn't just a fight. It's a brutal, bone-jarring ballet of fists, feet, and pure, unadulterated aggression. The wind whips past them with a furious howl, threatening to tear them from their precarious perch. Each punch Ethan lands sounds like a mallet hitting granite, the impacts echoing with a sickening thwack as he tries to find a weakness in the Enforcer's cybernetically enhanced frame. The Enforcer, a titan of muscle and advanced tech, retaliates with crushing blows, each one capable of sending Ethan skidding across the rattling metal roof. The metallic screech of their boots trying to find purchase on the rapidly moving surface, the sharp cracks of strained bones, and the desperate grunts of effort all create a raw, visceral soundscape of survival. Meanwhile, inside the train, Grace finds herself in a precarious position. Thorne orders her to eliminate a group of innocent bystanders to cover their escape. Her face, usually a mask of cunning, flickers with genuine conflict, a silent battle raging behind her eyes. Just as she raises her weapon, her hand shakes and she hesitates. The sharp clink of her gun lowering, the subtle shift in her posture. It's enough. She creates a diversion, a controlled explosion that sends a carriage compartment flying off the tracks with a massive, concussive boom, allowing the passengers to escape. Thorne's enraged roar can be heard even above the din of the battle. This confirms it. Grace is on their side, playing a truly dangerous long game. Ethan, sensing the shift, finds a surge of renewed determination, delivering a final, desperate strike that sends the Enforcer tumbling from the train with a desperate, guttural scream swallowed by the roar of the wind. This movie really makes you question who you can trust, even when they're literally saving lives. Talk about commitment to the bit! After a miraculous, albeit incredibly battered, escape from the disintegrating train, the team regroups in a hidden safe house, the air still thick with the metallic tang of burnt circuits and adrenaline. Benji, looking like he wrestled a server farm and lost, begins to meticulously sift through the fragmented data Grace managed to download. His fingers, still trembling slightly, fly across his specialized keyboard, the rhythmic tap, 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 the only sound in the tense silence. Suddenly, his eyes widen in genuine horror. A series of rapid beeps and boops from his console punctuate the revelation. "It's worse," he whispers, his voice barely audible above the hum of his tech. Aegis isn't just for destabilization. It's a precursor. He projects a complex holographic map, revealing a global network of dormant satellites and deep-sea cables. The metallic whir of the projector and the soft clicks of the controls highlight the gravity of the situation. Aegis, he explains, is designed to be the key, a master control unit that, when activated, can awaken an ancient, dormant network of Cold War-era bioweapons caches, globally positioned and linked to a failsafe system. Basically, Aegis is the kill switch for a doomsday weapon network that makes all previous doomsday devices look like a child's toy. The plan isn't just chaos. It's a forced, global reset. A final reckoning designed to plunge humanity back into a technological dark age, wiping the slate clean for Thorne's twisted vision of a new world order. The realization hits them like a physical blow, a collective gasp. The faint hum of Benji's tech feels ominous now, a harbinger of potential global catastrophe. It's like finding out your slightly annoying neighbor has actually been planning to turn the entire block into a giant, self-destructing potato cannon. Truly next-level stuff, even for a Mission Impossible movie. While Benji's horrifying discovery is still sinking in, Luther, ever the meticulous one, finally cracks the deeper meaning behind Grace's cryptic message left behind at the gala. It's not just a warning. It's a breadcrumb trail embedded within a tiny, almost microscopic data chip that she discreetly swapped during the train chaos. The faint metallic click as Luther inserts the chip into his reader breaks the heavy silence. The chip reveals a partial map, and a set of coordinates for a highly remote, deep desert research facility, a location previously believed to be abandoned decades ago. The old, grainy schematics of the facility, projected onto a screen with a soft electronic hum, reveal multiple layers of security, underground bunkers, and a surprising lack of coffee machines. This, they deduce, is where Thorne plans to fully integrate Aegis and activate the ancient Doomsday Network. The stakes are now beyond anything they've ever faced. Luther's voice, usually so calm, carries a new weight. This isn't just about stopping Thorne, it's about stopping a global extinction event. Ethan, his face grim but resolute, prepares for their most dangerous infiltration yet. He meticulously checks his gear, the soft snick of a pistol being loaded, the faint rustle of his tactical vest. The plan is simple, or as simple as anything involving impossible odds can be. Infiltrate the desert facility, stop Thorne, and deactivate Aegis before it's too late. The air crackles with the kind of tension that makes your teeth ache. This isn't just another mission. It's the final showdown, and the fate of the world rests squarely on their shoulders. No pressure, though, just the entire human race. Easy peasy. The scene shifts to the desolate, windswept expanse of a deep desert, where Thorne's hidden facility stands like a scar on the earth. A ferocious sandstorm, a swirling vortex of grit and wind, rages, providing the perfect, chaotic cover for the team's infiltration. The air is thick with the abrasive hiss of sand against metal, the furious howl of the wind making communication a challenge. Ethan, a master of dramatic entrances, performs a death-defying rappel down a sheer cliff face, the metallic scrape of his rope against the rock barely audible above the storm's roar. His movements are precise, almost balletic, as he navigates the treacherous descent, each placement of his hands and feet a testament to years of impossible stunts. Benji, nimble as ever, disables perimeter sensors with a series of quick, silent clicks and whirs, his tech humming softly against the wind's shriek. Luther, orchestrating from a remote vantage point, guides them through the shifting sands and hidden laser grids, his voice a steady presence through the comms, even as static crackles around the edges. The guards, partially blinded by the storm, struggle to maintain their posts, their figures appearing and disappearing like ghosts in the swirling sand. The thump-thump of their boots on the sandy ground, muffled by the storm, adds to the tension. One guard, caught off guard, receives a swift, silent takedown from Ethan, a soft thud followed by immediate silence. The entire sequence is a masterclass in silent, brutal efficiency, a symphony of hushed movements and controlled chaos. They navigate booby traps, laser grids that hum with a deadly energy, and pressure plates that trigger silent alarms, each obstacle a hair's breadth from catastrophe. It's a reminder that even the most advanced security systems are no match for a team that literally thrives on impossible. And who needs a clear view when you have Ethan Hunt in a really angry sandstorm? Deep within the pulsating heart of the desert facility, amidst the rhythmic hum of supercomputers and the soft glow of monitors, Ethan finally comes face to face with Elias Thorne. Thorne, surprisingly calm and collected, sits before a massive console, Aegis pulsating ominously on a nearby pedestal. His voice, smooth and chillingly articulate, fills the sterile chamber. "Welcome, Ethan," he greets, a smirk playing on his lips. "You're just in time for the genesis of a new world." He then reveals his full, twisted motivations. He believes humanity is a plague, a self-destructive virus, and Aegis, coupled with the dormant bioweapon network, is his cure. He details his plan with almost poetic zeal, explaining how a global reset will force humanity to rebuild, free from the corrupting influences of technology and unchecked growth. The click-clack of Ethan's suppressed pistol being raised is the only audible counterpoint to Thorne's monologue. Ethan, his voice a low growl, tries to reason, tries to appeal to the former IMF agent, but Thorne is beyond reach, his eyes alight with a fanatical glint. "You cling to a dying world, Ethan. I offer salvation through necessary destruction." The tension in the room is palpable, a thick, suffocating blanket. Just as Ethan prepares to make his move, Thorne's personal guard, a squad of heavily armed silent operatives, emerges from hidden compartments with a sudden whoosh of hydraulic doors. They surround Ethan, their weapons locking onto him with precise metallic clicks. Thorne, with a triumphant smile, presses a button, and the chilling beep, beep, beep of a countdown timer begins on the main screen, signaling the imminent activation of Aegis and the global network. It's a classic villain move, but darn if it isn't effective. And seriously, who designs a secret lair with hidden guard compartments? It's like bad interior decorating, but with more guns. With a triumphant flourish, Thorne slams his hand onto the console, and the Aegis device pulses with an intense, otherworldly glow. A chilling digital chime reverberates through the room. On the massive display screen, a global map lights up with ominous red nodes, spreading rapidly across continents like a digital plague, each node signifying a dormant bioweapon cache coming online. The whirring sound from the facility's core intensifies, a terrifying symphony of imminent destruction. Benji and Luther, monitoring from their remote positions, unleash a torrent of panicked exclamations. "He's doing it! He's activating them all!" Benji's fingers fly across his keyboard, a desperate blur of motion, trying to erect firewalls, to sever connections, to do anything to slow the inexorable march toward global annihilation. The frantic click-clack-click of his typing mixes with the blaring alarms now echoing through the entire facility. Ethan, facing down Thorne's overwhelming forces, plunges into a brutal multi-combatant brawl, each punch and kick delivered with a desperate fury. The metallic clang of his fists, impacting armored guards, the sharp crack of bone against bone, and the frustrated grunts of his opponents fill the air. He's a whirlwind of calculated violence, using every available piece of the environment as a weapon. A sparking pipe, a loose cable, even a strategically placed monitor that shatters with a satisfying smash. But with each passing second, the global threat intensifies, the red nodes on the map expanding, consuming more of the digital world. The pressure is immense, a tangible weight on everyone's shoulders. The fate of billions hangs in the balance, and it's all because one guy thought humanity needed a timeout. Seriously, what a dramatic way to enforce a digital detox. As the Aegis countdown accelerates, Ethan, ever the master of making impossible situations even more, well, impossible, realizes a direct frontal assault won't work. His eyes, scanning the control room with a desperate intensity, lock onto a massive, heavily reinforced ventilation shaft leading directly into the facility's supercooled core, where the Aegis device's main power conduit is located. He hatches a plan so reckless, so utterly insane, it could only come from Ethan Hunt. He has to physically dive down the shaft, bypass multiple layers of automated defenses, and reach the core to disrupt Aegis directly. Luther's voice, laced with disbelief, crackles over the comms. "Ethan, that shaft is designed to withstand a nuclear blast. And there's a turbine fan the size of a small house at the bottom." Ethan, however, is already in motion, scaling a nearby wall with a series of powerful athletic leaps, his hands finding purchase on impossibly small ledges. He leaps into the yawning maw of the shaft, plunging headfirst into the darkness, the whistling rush of air, a deafening roar in his ears. The whoosh of wind, the metallic clank of his grappling hook snagging a precarious hold, and the distant, rhythmic thump-thump-thump of the colossal turbine fan below combine to create a symphony of pure, unadulterated terror. He navigates a dizzying array of laser grids that sizzle past his face, the metallic ping of his specialized suit deflecting a few. He deploys small magnetic disruptors with sharp snaps to temporarily freeze moving fan blades, each maneuver a hair's breadth from being shredded into a fine, ethical paste. It's a race against the clock, against physics, and against Thorne's increasingly frantic efforts to secure the facility. This man really enjoys giving his friends heart attacks, doesn't he? It's like a game of chicken, where the chicken is humanity, and the cliff is global annihilation. As Ethan plunges into the belly of the beast, Luther and Benji face their own impossible battle. Thorne, enraged by Ethan's audacious move, unleashes Aegis's full digital defense protocols. The screens in their remote command center erupt with a blizzard of malicious code, a digital storm intent on overwhelming their systems. Luther, a master of his craft, becomes a blur of motion, his fingers flying across multiple keyboards with a frantic, rhythmic tap-tap-tap. The consoles spark and hum, the metallic smell of ozone filling the air as his tech struggles under the immense digital pressure. He's battling a sentient AI in real time, a digital tug-of-war for the fate of the planet. Benji, usually the comic relief, is now focused, his face grim, feeding Luther vital data, tracking the spread of Aegis's digital tendrils across the globe. He yells warnings, his voice tight with tension. They're rerouting through dormant satellites in the Pacific. Aegis is adapting! The beep-boop whir of the computers intensifies, a cacophony of digital warfare. Luther's strategy is to isolate and sever the connections to the bioweapon caches, one by excruciatingly slow one. Each successful firewall breach is met with a small, victorious ping and a collective sigh of relief. But Aegis is relentless, constantly shifting and reconfiguring. Sparks fly from an overloaded console, a sharp crackle punctuating the air, but Luther doesn't flinch. His mind is a fortress, his will unbending. He's the digital samurai, fending off 1,000,000 invisible blades, the fate of the entire world resting on his weary but determined shoulders. It's truly a test of mental fortitude, unlike Ethan's physical gymnastics. And let's be honest, who else could make typing look this intense? It's like a competitive gaming tournament. But if the losers caused global Armageddon, Ethan finally crashes into the core chamber, a place where the air itself seems to bite with an icy chill. The metallic taste of ozone sharp on his tongue. The chamber is a marvel of twisted technology, glowing conduits crisscrossing the space, shimmering with raw energy. Freezing vapor billows from ruptured pipes with a dramatic whoosh, coating everything in a delicate layer of ice. Thorn, having anticipated Ethan's move, is waiting. His face, usually composed, is now contorted with a chilling blend of fury and desperation, knowing his grand plan is moments from either triumph or utter failure. The rhythmic beep of the global timer echoes like a death knell. The core chamber itself begins to groan and rupture, the ominous creaking of stressed metal and the sharp cracking of ice-covered supports signifying its imminent collapse. This isn't just a fight. It's a frantic, desperate brawl for the fate of humanity in a collapsing sub-zero death trap. Ethan, his breath misting in the frigid air, launches himself at Thorn, each punch imbued with the weight of the world. The impacts sound brutal, like frozen meat hitting concrete. Thorn, surprisingly agile and strong, fights back with a furious, unhinged intensity fueled by his warped ideology. The whoosh of their rapid movements, the sharp thuds of bodies slamming into icy consoles, and the deafening groans of the chamber's structure create a chaotic symphony of destruction. They slide across the icy floor, their grappling and struggles illuminated by the volatile arcs of electricity that occasionally spark from ruptured conduits with a sharp zap. It's hand-to-hand combat at its most primal, with the added bonus of freezing temperatures and impending structural failure. I can practically feel the cold through the screen. And let me tell you, I do not envy the person who has to clean up all that ice and villainous angst. That's a tough gig. With the core chamber groaning its last, Thorn attempts a final desperate gambit, manually overriding the remaining safeguards to accelerate Aegis's final activation. The rhythmic beep of the countdown intensifies, becoming a frantic, high-pitched shriek. Ethan, seeing his window of opportunity, musters a final impossible surge of strength. He parries Thorn's desperate lunge, the metallic scrape of their arms brushing against each other echoing in the dying chamber. With a primal roar of effort, Ethan jams a specialized EMP device provided by Benji directly into Aegis's main processor. There's a deafening, high-pitched whine, followed by a blinding flash of light and a guttural, electronic screech. Aegis shatters into 1,000,000 glowing fragments, its malevolent hum silenced forever. Thorn, his eyes wide with a mixture of disbelief and utter defeat, lets out a guttural cry of anguish as his life's work implodes. The core chamber then begins its final, catastrophic collapse. The thunderous boom of falling girders, and the crash of ice-covered machinery filling the air. Ethan, battered and bruised, but triumphant, barely escapes with his life, leaping through a rapidly closing exit as the entire facility is swallowed by the sand. A final concussive whoosh as it disappears into the desert floor. The silence that follows is deafening, absolute, broken only by Ethan's ragged breaths and the distant sigh of the wind. Luther's voice, hoarse with relief, crackles through his comms. "Ethan." Aegis is offline. "You did it." The relief is palpable, a heavy weight lifting from the shoulders of the team, a collective exhale. The world is safe for now. But man, that was a close one. Probably closer than trying to assemble IKEA furniture with just the picture instructions. In the quiet, dust-filled aftermath, the team recovers. The physical wounds a testament to their harrowing ordeal, but the emotional ones, especially the memory of Grace's perceived loss, run deeper. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the vast desert landscape in hues of orange and purple, Ethan stands silhouetted against the breathtaking yet empty expanse. He reflects on the immense sacrifices made, the fine line they walk between saving the world and losing a piece of themselves. The weight of impossible decisions, the burden of leadership, it's all visible in his weary but resolute gaze. But then a familiar, mischievous voice breaks the silence. "Miss me?" Grace emerges from the shadows, alive and well, having faked her initial demise to completely infiltrate Thorne's inner circle, a plan so deep even the IMF didn't fully grasp it. She explains the leverage Thorne had, a hidden network of her own innocent contacts he threatened. Her return, a testament to her cunning and bravery, brings a new, hopeful dynamic to the team. The world, though saved, remains a complex tapestry of shadows and light, and the IMF, with Ethan at its unwavering heart, will always be there, navigating the impossible. We've seen Ethan defy death countless times, but this time, he defied despair. It makes you wonder, what truly impossible mission awaits around the corner? What new reckoning will test their spirit, their ingenuity, and their unwavering belief in doing what's right, no matter the cost? These heroes remind us that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the triumph over it, continuously choosing to face the impossible for a future we all share. It's a powerful thought, really, and one that resonates deeply. After all, isn't that what life's about? Finding your own impossible missions and tackling them head-on? Until next time, stay safe, stay impossible, and remember to always choose your own mission should you decide to accept it.